And true to his word, Congressman Peter Meijer is online with me. He's the Michigan 3rd District Republican from the 3rd District. And I asked him to come on to, instead of all of us saying what we believe is going on with his votes on the impeachment that we covered in a previous interview, and now this January 6th commission, and the questions that a lot of you who listen to me know I have when it comes to all these other things that are happening out there. I asked for Congressman Meijer to come on air, and he graciously accepted, unlike some others that are out there that I've asked to come on air and don't even get back to me. So welcome back to the Live with Rank show, Congressman Meijer. Good morning, Congressman Meijer, and again, thank you.
No, I appreciate coming back on. Right, you say jump, I say how high. You say come on the air, I say when do you want me?
Well, I hope that's true, and you know it's been that way so far, and I hope we continue that way. You know that. There's tough questions that are going to be asked on my type of show, and what I would like to do, I only have this one segment, so I have some questions I want to get to, give you the opportunity to better express yourself to many of your constituents who are here, other than the snippets or whatever they hear out there on CNN or Facebook or in papers or what have you, or even from me. And then I'd like, for a few minutes at the end, I did call and check on you, and I'm hearing from Calhoun County, the Calhoun County Republican Party, that you have been doing some really good things for the district. And in fact, they said Justin Amash was here for however many years and did nothing. Spoke the word, talked the word, but did nothing for the district, and they spoke very highly of you. I do my research. That's probably one thing you do know about me, Peter. Well, as you know, the first time last time you came on, maybe the time before, it was about that vote you made concerning the impeachment of President Trump. And really quickly, because I haven't had you on since then, I know that you were concerned that his words, or you thought his words incited, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, incited what happened that day. And, people can go back. I'm going to put this out on a podcast later. Those will be the links to our previous discussion about this. But later it's then found out that from the FBI that these plans to do what these people did, not all of them, but many of them, probably the more destructive of them, had been planned prior to the speech. What do you say to people, Congressman Meijer, who say you jumped the gun, you made a decision before you had all the facts in front of you, and then facts unfolded later that said that these groups were planning on doing what they did prior to the speech?
Well, I say that doesn't change anything. I mean, the fact of the matter is the speech that was given, that was not the sole rationale, right? That was, you had to view that in context, and the context was months and months of November 3rd was a landslide victory for Donald Trump that was stolen, and January 6th was the day to stop that steal, right? That's why folks came out to D.C. That's why there was a crowd that was gathered. That's why a lot of these groups, especially the Oath Keepers and the 3%ers, that's why they were planning violence that day, was because of that, all that had been built up. And many of them felt that they were doing so at the insistence, at the encouragement, or under the guidance of the president. Now, was that what the president intended? I don't know. But that was what happened, and to me that was a sincere dereliction of responsibility by a public official, let alone, endangering the life of Vice President Pence and the lack of response that occurred in the hours after folks started to break into the Capitol.
All right, now that moves us then to your recent vote. You were one of 35 Republicans who voted for this January 6th commission. And the concern I and others have around there are twofold. One, this would be the fifth investigation into this. When you look at the other investigations that are out there, or I think two by the one by the DOJ, yeah, right, and two by the DOJ, whatever it is, right? And on top of it, it's political in nature. Anytime there's a commission, by one party or a party or both parties. It's all political in nature. And I, as many people out there, believe this is completely political, partisan. And here's Karl Rove the other day.
Six commission of a 1-6 commission is a highly partisan construct put forward by the aggrieved Speaker of the House of Representatives.
And that's our concern, and many of us are wondering why you
no, it was suggested by Liz Cheney.
Agreed to something that's going to be so political and that was put out there only to be able to continue to harm Republicans into next year.
Well, and Rank, this is where I think we are completely missing the forest for the trees. So to clear away a couple of things, the bipartisan independent commission that had been negotiated between Republicans and Democrats, right? And John Katko from New York, he had taken the ranking member on Homeland Security. He had taken Republican concerns, what the caucus wanted out of a mission, and negotiated with the Democrats, and frankly, got all of them, right? It's an equal split, Republicans and Democratic members, 2 appointed by the Speaker of the House, 2 appointed by the Minority Leader, 2 appointed by the President of the Senate, the Majority Leader, 2 appointed by the Minority Leader in the Senate.
Who's going to be the chair of who appoints the chair of the committee?
The chair of the committee is appointed by the Democrats and the vice chair by the Republicans. And the hiring done in consultation between the two parties. But let me just say, any subpoena needs to have bipartisan agreement. And the challenge here, right, is if this bipartisan commission, which, by the way, Nancy Pelosi does not want. She wants the original form that she had, which was modeled after the Benghazi Commission, and that would have had to be bicameral. So it had to be House and Senate just by the nature. That was where the ball was. If she can turn around and say, listen, we gave the Republicans a chance to have this commission, and we gave the Senate a chance to have this commission. They said no. What she's going to do is turn around and pull a Benghazi, right? She's going to have, this is not doing away with the bipartisan commission isn't doing away with the commission. It just means whatever commission Nancy Pelosi decides to create, A, will be able to subpoena folks without a single Republican agreeing to it, and B, can go on for as long as it wants, because the independent commission had a mandate to end by December 31st, right? The Benghazi commission lasted over 2.5 years.
Oh, it December 31st, but there could be committee hearings and testimony going on until the next year. The report is supposed to be done. And you know, when will Nancy Pelosi ever stick to rules, her own rules? All right, before we run out of time, real quickly then where, and this is my concern, there's been so many insurrectionist activities by Biden and Democrat supporters, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, counter-protesters. Just yesterday, they tried to burn down a Justice Center. Why aren't you and the other 34 and the rest of your colleagues calling for a commission looking into that? Because it appears that you guys care about what happens to a place where you work, but not where others work.
A, the DOJ has investigations ongoing into that, and B, there's a very, very, very big difference. Rank, I hope you appreciate this, between an effort to disrupt a lawful presidential transition of power and chaos and anarchy, right? Chaos and anarchy are despicable, condemnable. There's a reason why thousands of people were arrested as a result. And frankly, anybody who causes property damage, anybody who seeks to intimidate, local level officials should be thrown in jail. Full stop.
But you just said, there's a DOJ investigation into it, Congressman Meijer. Yeah, there's 4 other investigations into this political commission that you voted for. That's the problem. That's the concern.
But the difference between the two is you don't have 50% of Democrats thinking that, Joe Biden, you still have 50% of Republicans thinking that Donald Trump is the president. You got a lot of folks who sincerely believe that what happened on January 6th was a positive thing, was a patriotic thing, that the traitors were inside the building and it was patriots who were storming it, right? Until we get right between those issues, until we have a consensus on that, or as much as a consensus as is possible, we're in a very bad state, right? The Republican Party, we lost the House in 2018, we lost the presidency in 2020, we lost the Senate in 2021. I want to see us win, and we can't win when we are living in completely different realities here. That is why I think there's an imperative on the Republican side of the aisle to actually have some facts around this matter and to not just keep giving in to grifters and liars and folks who are just...
Hold on, I got to go to break, Congressman Meijer. You're listening to the Live with Ring Show. We'll be right back after this.
95.3 WBCK.
It's 10:16.
Have you been searching for an available roofing contractor and don't want to wait until fall before you get a new roof? No need to wait any longer. There's only one call you need to make, and that's a call to Roach Home Improvement. Roach Home Improvement knows roofs. No matter how big or small it may be. With over 16 years of expertise, you can trust the professionals at Roach Home Improvement who will make sure your roof is properly installed, the job is complete, and better yet, there's no mess left behind. Roach Home Improvement uses only the best quality products for your roofing project, and that's how they get back your work with a 15-year warranty. Maybe you need a roof, but keep putting it off. Roach Home Improvement is making it easy with 0% financing for 3 years. Get your new roof now to avoid more damage in your home's interior. Visit RoachHomeImprovement.com and check out some of the work for yourself, or call 269-420-6622. Roach Home Improvement, the big name in roofing.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away millions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce it to under thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
StarRegistry.com. Since Newark children have been told to reach for the stars, give us great advice. Now it's a great gift. Name a star of your song. For $54 and a call to 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com. We will name a star after someone very special to you and send an incredible personalized gift. The new star name will be recorded in book form in the U.S. Copyright Office. Call the Star Registry, 800-282-3333 or visit StarRegistry.com for the hottest gift. Listen to WBCK on your mobile device, anytime, anywhere. It's free. Brought to you by Airway Auto Parts and Recycling. Don't scrap your car. Get instant cash from Airway.
With Rank, and I appreciate that very, very much. Online with me is Congressman Peter Meijer. He agreed to stay in a second segment, so that's great. We were just getting into the thick of it. I was asking him about his vote concerning the January 6th commission. He was one of 35 Republicans who voted for this. My concern and others' concern is this is just a completely political maneuver. It is the fifth. It'll be the fifth investigation into this. Is it just a waste of money? And I added, why aren't any of these guys calling for this, some type of commission to look into our cities being burnt down by Biden and Democrat supporters? And again, on George Floyd's anniversary of his death yesterday, they're shooting at George Floyd Square in Minneapolis, and in Portland, they're throwing rocks at a justice center, breaking the windows, and trying to burn it down, or at least throwing these large movable trash cans there, or the big truck ones, on fire. And it's happening all over the place, and it has been, well, in big cities, and it has been happening for a long time. And there should be a commission that looks into that also. There is something that he said last segment that I spoke a little bit with him at break that I wanted to get more clarity, because he said if we didn't do this, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer would do something. Did I state that correctly? If we didn't, meaning you guys in the House, didn't agree to this, that there would be, as you put, a Benghazi-style commission with no buy-in from the other side or no bipartisanship in it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so what happened with Benghazi, it was just in the House. It was a House Select Committee, right? It ran for 2.5 years. It had subpoena power. There were, I think, 5 Democrats who joined onto it, but, were basically railroaded the entire time because it was, let's be honest, it was a partisan exercise, right? That's what Nancy Pelosi wants. She wants an entity that has subpoena power that can haul people before the House under penalty of perjury and that won't have any Republican input whatsoever. She wants something without a defined end date, right? The bipartisan commission ends on December 31st, 2021. She wants something she can drag into the 2024 cycle, right? I mean, this is why I am so concerned that if we're just retreating back and worried about the partisanship, we're setting ourselves up for an even worse outcome here, right? If you're just looking at it on that level. Now, you mentioned all these other investigations that are ongoing. They are. A lot of them are very narrowly focused. DOD is investigating why it took the Pentagon so long to react. Department of Justice has their investigations. The FBI has their prosecutions, right? None of these are really looking at the totality of what occurred and trying to come to something that can be objective. And many of them won't actually come out with a public report or something that the public can view. I'm still furious that the Capitol Police have not held a single press conference about January 6th since January 6th.
Well, and also, if I may add to that, Congressman Meijer, they sent that threatening, I believe, blackmail letter to all you guys, and that should be looked into. I know that you're a freshman.
No, we're looking into that. So that was not an official letter. That was I've heard a couple of different stories, and the letter that you're referring to was basically saying that the Capitol Police or members of the Capitol Police. It was sent on letterhead. It was not signed, but it was also not authorized to be sent by Capitol Police, and they're investigating how that occurred. That was imploring members of Congress to vote in support of this.
Right, and
it should not have done that.
And the threat, it's a veiled, right? It's a veiled threat. Like, we're the ones who protect you. I'm really hoping that you guys look into this. And these are the same Capitol Police who are refusing, and I'm glad you said that, to give us any information. Why is it that we know when a police officer shoots someone 30 seconds later, we know their name, their picture, where they went to grade school, what they ate, what kind of juice box they had when they were younger? We have no idea who killed that white woman, the only person killed on January 6th by violence. We have no idea who killed them, and they're keeping that secret. Why is that?
Because of how... No, they shouldn't, right? We should have a fullness that would come out in a larger investigation that looks at things into context that is a little bit harder to manipulate on social media. I mean, look at the police officer who shot the girl who was trying to stab the other girl in Cleveland, right? LeBron James, tweets that out. The guy gets death threats, seconds later. I mean, that is where the politics go, and it's abhorrent. Right, but the broader point here, though, and we're getting into this last time. The broader point is just there are so many different stories, there are so many different threads, there are so many different components to this that I am incredibly frustrated as a member of Congress. I learn more about what happened on that day through Twitter and through journalists than I do from the government.
Oh yeah, there's 14,000 hours. 14,000 hours of video by government. That they are not allowing out. They just allowed the people who ran the impeachment to cherry pick stuff from it, and I'm hoping that you'll get on that. Also, what about, real quickly, and then I want to get to some of the good things you've been doing in the district. What about the fact that oh man, it just slipped out of. Is there anything? Is it no one worried about our cities burning, our cities being under attack? Police cars, police stations. Insurrection is basically you're against the government authority, and I look at also as you're destroying their property. So if you want to look at it on January 6th as property being destroyed, I get it, but. Blowing up police cars and precincts and that. Is anybody in Congress thinking about doing anything about this or looking into it?
To me, the most important thing, and you didn't mention this, but it is essentially vital. I mean, look at the rise in homicides in the past year. I mean, we are in 1990 levels, right? The city of Grand Rapids went from 17 homicides in 9 homicides in 18 to 19 and 19 to 20 had over close to 30, I think it was 37 homicides, right? These are levels we haven't hit since the early 90s. You have the lawlessness in our cities that have taken advantage of these protests in order to get massive amounts of people and just, destroy police cars, attack law enforcement, destroy property. You have that, and then you just have the more broader breakdown in law and order that we have seen, and I'm sure the lockdowns contributed to it. Like, people's brains are broken, like they're out of work. They're getting paid to stay at home by the federal government right now, which is a massive problem. All of that is contributing to the scenario we're at right now. Now, the challenge here, January 6th was isolated to a single day that was focused on disrupting the constitutional transition of presidential authority with the support and encouragement of the outgoing president, right? That is a fundamentally challenging and dangerous thing to our constitutional system. Also fundamentally challenging and dangerous is that outbreak of lawlessness. But in terms of trying to root down a pinpoint, if there's organized Antifa, round them all up. Right? These are folks who should not be walking free. There were some entities that were disrupted by the DOJ during the Trump administration who were going around, these sort of professional provocateurs from place to place, but they just wanted chaos. I know we're coming up on that minute break, and I want to actually talk about Calhoun County.
Real quickly, because you got 40 seconds.
Yeah, Rank, great interview. Well, let me just say, Meyer's so much more intelligent. You can't keep up with him, Rank. But let me get back to seriousness. Rank, you lied to your WBCK audience about the election being stolen. How many months did you lie? You lied along with Trump, because Trump was lying for months. So before the election took place, Trump would say, if I don't win, okay, then that means it was rigged. And you were reporting that, and you were even implying that, right? And then after he lost, of course, then you go into, yep, I lost, and it was rigged. And so you repeated it, and then you even advertised it, I believe. Weren't you advertising buses going to Washington? Yes, Rank, you were. So you're a co-conspirator. I'm sorry, I have to laugh about really horrible things. So you helped incite the riot just like Trump did, okay? Trump did a bigger job of it. He had a bigger, megaphone or amplifier. You've got your little Calhoun and Kalamazoo area stuff. But all the talk radio was pushing it. So, by the way, Rank, do you know who this older man is, this old lawyer man? With the 20, I think he thought she was 17 or 18. I'm sorry. This is Republican family values here. This is my Republican family values segment of the video. And they were in a hotel room, and she was interviewing Rudy. It's Rudy Giuliani, the president's top lawyer, the person who led the response to the election fraud and election irregularities. And he was 0 for 70 in the court cases. That's how good you guys were. You lost to the Supreme Court too. So hey, twice you lost to the Supreme Court, Rank. Don't mention that to WBCK people. Don't mention that. Of course you won't mention that. You won't tell them the truth. So let's see, what was this? Oh, he was being interviewed. I can't remember what the interview was about. It was all a setup by Borat. But Rudy, being kind of stupid, or at least indiscreet and careless, he met with this girl. No, actually, she's 25. In real life, she's 25. But I think she said she was 18 and was going to start college. And Rudy said, oh, really? Now, I don't know what... It's just like Trump. It's just like Trump and Matt Gaetz. Vouch for Matt Gaetz for me, Rank. He was doing cocaine. Well, he was doing cocaine with prostitutes. Isn't that family values? Oh my God! You guys have you've gone so low. I don't know how you dig yourselves out, but so that's Rudy Giuliani. Now let's see. Do I have anything more to say on this incitement, insurrection, rioting? Oh, and you lied too. Yes, Rank, you lied as well about who was rioting. And wasn't it the first 2 weeks the lie that you pulled out of your rear end was that it was Black Lives Matter and Antifa that did the rioting? Oh boy, that's a real desperate reach. I think they were 95 or 98% white people, and maybe 80% over 30. So they're over 30 and they're white. Total different demographic than Antifa or BLM. And I could run an hour of wanted pictures of older white men decked out in their regalia, their Trump regalia. And where is the Trump regalia made, Mr. Rank? It's made in China. It's made in China. So the suckers in your audience, okay, who are real Trumpers, they're patriots, they're patriot boys, they're Proud Boy patriot boys. Yeah, all that Trump crap is made in China. The t-shirts are made in China. The red hats, caps are made in China. The flags are made in China. Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell if you guys are really, really stupid and you buy the junk from China anyway, trying to make America great, or you just don't care. You just don't care. You say, oh, I'll buy from China. I don't care. It's just a bit. Yeah. So I don't know. Either way, I have zero respect for you people. Zero. Zilch. So tell me about Matt Gaetz. I don't know. Tell me about, whatever. Tell me about Rudy. I guess I'm done with this segment.
Last week, I traveled to a sweltering Arizona, where Republican state senators are auditing results of the 2020 election in a giant arena next to an actual carnival. Sure, there's already been 2 audits and a recount, and it's 101 goddamn degrees out, but there are still men like this ready to throw their support behind election integrity.
I've been here all week, and I'll be here until the audit's done, is my plan. So what's going on right back here is the most important thing going on in our country right now.
What do you have there on your hips?
Okay, we met this guy previously. He's got way too much time on his hands, and he's probably got too many weapons. That's a 357 Magnum. I don't know how many bullets it has. Does it have 6 bullets or 9 bullets? I don't know. Yeah, it could stop 5 people. I don't know. There are infiltrators, if you didn't know. It uses the word infiltrators. So it looks to me like it's an abandoned parking lot. Oh, yeah, let me mention about where the gear is so important to Trumpers. So he's got a Trumper flag, and then he's got a, what do they call that, a Gadsden flag, the yellow Tea Party flag. Can you guess where those flags are made? Take a wild guess. They're made in China. Now, wait. Oh, okay, yeah, just mentioning MAGA, where the MAGA paraphernalia, the MAGA junk is made. It's, 90% of it is made in China. The rest of it is made in, like, Honduras, Dominican Republic, Vietnam. That's why you guys are just so full of it, you MAGA people. Do you check the tag on your hats? Just look at the tag. It'll say made in China, because I bought one. At the rally. And then I asked the vendors, I said, where is this stuff made? I said, is it made in America? Is it made in the United States? Ooh, they didn't like that question. They tried to, at first they tried to avoid it, and I'd look at the tag, and I'd say, this is made in Honduras. Why? How come you? Why isn't it made in the United States? You people, you're just grifters. It's all you're buying. You're throwing money away in imported stuff, just like every other. You're not patriots. You're just consumers, just greedy consumers. So yeah, that guy needs to get a life. Get a life. I don't know. Get a girlfriend. Find a hobby. I don't know.
Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum. There has been word that Antifa and BLM may be coming in, so they're trying to be careful and secure the premises.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's a 257 Magnum. 257 Magnum. And look at, there's nobody in the parking lot. There's nobody there. Man, oh man. This guy is maybe a little delusional, just a little on the delusional, paranoid side. Infiltrators. I don't see any infiltrators, but there reportedly are infiltrators in the carnival area. You never know where the infiltrators will show up. They could show up in the Ferris wheel and in the merry-go-round. You just don't know.
Have you seen any signs of Antifa?
You guys have probably heard about the carnival that's going on here. There's a little concern about whether or not that would provide those kind of folks an opportunity to come in and try to infiltrate and get access.
So there is some fear that BLM might meet behind a tilt-a-whirl, organize, and then bum rush the situation.
Bad people can do bad things. I'm not going to say what they may try to do.
Outside of possible Antifa carnies, which was laid out in official documents outlining potential security threats, what's the harm in one more recount?
I know that it's comical to watch what's happening here in Arizona, but I think that it is also important to note that this is really dangerous to our democracy. And you know what? We saw how dangerous the post-election misinformation was. This is a group of people who are clearly partisan. It is headed by a company that has no auditing or election experience, and they're making up the rules as they go along.
So who's running the audit?
Cyber ninjas.
Did you say cyber ninjas?
I did say cyber ninjas.
Is it run by a 12-year-old boy?
It sounds like it, right?
While the Cyber Ninjas website looks like the invitation to my 9th birthday party, we must not judge audit companies by their splash page. But you give it to the pros, let the pros handle it.
These are not pros.
Well, they're cyber ninjas. It takes some amount of training, I assume.
Their firm has nothing to do with audits or elections.
Well, maybe they're newish to it. How many audits have they done?
None.
They've never done an audit?
No.
Well, I mean, give them a wide berth, right? First job, you want to root. Sometimes you make some mistakes with your first job. I remember my first job, I burned a lot of hamburgers.
You know,
and I worked at a TJ Maxx.
There are a lot of Arizona voters who are very, very concerned about this, and I don't think they like the idea of their ballots, their election being in the hands of these rookies.
Turns out the audit has had some issues in the trust department, starting with Cyber Ninja's conspiracy theorist CEO, an auditor who attended the January 6th insurrection, and mysterious UV lights used to look for Chinese bamboo in paper ballots. Really? To help clear the air, I talked to John Brakey and Ken Bennett, who are inside working on the audit.
There's been so many bizarre stories going on through the media.
You can have some pretty far-fetched ideas on both sides, and what we're doing is simply proving or disproving as many of those as we can.
Speaking as somebody on the outside, this feels like it's just feeding into conspiratorial thinking.
We're mythbusters.
Great.
Okay? We're doing things we think are foolish, but people believe it's real.
What does this I hear of a UV light?
There was a UV light that was being used to supposedly
UV
check
light
for
bleach.
watermarks in the ballot.
I want to follow up on this. Bamboo?
Bizarre, huh? That's because Southeast Asia uses bamboo in their paper, supposedly. Okay? We're mythbusters.
China.
Are you looking for traces of bamboo?
We're looking for everything in there.
So that's a yes?
We're looking to disprove that it is not there.
Some people believe that paper from outside of the authentic ballot paper that should have been part of the
communist
Maricopa
paper.
audit
It's communist
got
paper.
introduced into the system and might be the paper on which 40,000 people cast illegitimate votes.
All Chinese ballots are on bamboo?
Yeah.
Is it because
China.
soy sauce would be too obviously racist?
Oh my goodness.
Is there a chance people believe this because people add fuel to the fire by elevating this and therefore letting that be part of the conversation?
If we validate that something they think might have happened didn't happen, then we're not throwing fuel on the fire.
Are you looking into the Hungarian vector?
I didn't know about that one.
Hungarian vector.
It's a bullshit thing I just made up that sounds cool and a little bit spooky. I was fortunate enough to see the operation firsthand, and the people led by the cyber ninjas were definitely counting and observing. But there is still one thing that can at least temporarily derail this audit. Teenagers.
We've known from the very beginning that there's some high school graduations coming in 2 weeks. So we'll have to step aside for about a week while the graduations occur.
You don't have a place to count the ballots in 2 weeks?
No, just for 1 week, we're going to shut down.
We'll secure the ballots, and when the graduations are over, we'll come back and
this is not a joke.
I know it's not a joke, but you want us to trust you, but you're like, we're going to lock the ballots in there and then let a bunch of teenagers come through for a week, and then we'll start counting again?
No, that is not a case at all.
Secure the ballots, right.
Come on, let's get serious.
No, I got it. No, it's serious. Let's be serious.
This is a very serious subject.
It's very serious.
Okay, so it's not a joke.
It's not a joke. Let's go back to the bamboo talking, but it's not a joke. Until we settle the very serious bamboo situation, you can find me in a place that's run by professionals not attempting to thwart our democracy. The other carnival.
Oh, okay. Let's go over this thing yet again about the vote fraud. Sorry, I'm laughing automatically. There was no vote fraud anywhere. I mean, there was like one or two cases in this state where some guy, this guy was a Trumper. He killed. That's right. He's accused of killing his wife. This is the Trump kind of person. He's accused of killing. Rank, you want to listen in? Rank, you can listen in. Tim Collins, you can listen in. Jim Mishler, you can listen in. All the Town Square media people can listen in to this little story. The guy's accused of killing his wife, but she had an absentee ballot. And he took the absentee ballot and voted and signed her name. That's who you people are. I keep saying, yeah, like when you see Confederate flags everywhere, and you hear racist talk, and you see Nazi flags, and you have this here, like for example, when WBCK, when you say Flint, Detroit, Chicago, that means that's coded language for the black cities. The black cities. Okay, and it's to scare white people, your white audience. So, yeah, I know who you guys are. I've been to your rallies. I've seen your rallies. I've listened to you guys blab on and on talk radio. I've looked at your Twitter posts. I've looked at your Facebook posts. Yeah, you guys are a bunch of frickin' racists. Okay, you talk like racists. You walk like racists, you dress like racists, so you're racists. It's kind of simple, you know? I mean, if you're running around with Confederate flags, I mean, what am I supposed to think? But I'll go back to the election fraud nonsense. You had, what was it? You were going to have Kraken, you were going to have Hugo Chavez. Hugo Chavez was involved. Cuba was involved. Let's see, who else? Oh, George Soros was involved. God, what a bunch of cockamamie nonsense. This is QAnon nonsense. So we're wasting months and months and hours of stupid radio time talking to your stupid audience about QAnon bullshit. So, and this, by picture is Rudy Giuliani's press conference. They thought it was going to be at Four Seasons Hotel, but they couldn't book it because either they couldn't read or they didn't have the money. Who knows what it is with the Trumpers? If it's incompetence, if it's lack of money, you just never know. So it's not at the Four Seasons Hotel in Philadelphia. It's Four Seasons, a total landscaping warehouse. That's That's who you people are. You're a bunch of bozos. I'm sorry. God, I need my own talk radio. Yeah, you're a bunch of bozos. So, Rudy gave this press conference. Nobody could find it. Oh, yeah, and Four Seasons Total Landscaping is next to an adult bookstore. Adult shop paraphernalia. Adult videos and toys, etc. And they had to hold it outside. They held it in the parking lot. But listen, let me give the Trump people credit here. Let me give you credit where credit is due. Somebody did a marvelous job of posting up Trump campaign placards over the what do you call it? Not shed, the door, the garage door. Garage, that's what I'm looking for, a garage door. So they did a nice job of that. But everything else is shit. I'm sorry. Everything else is crap. I'm sorry. My language is getting Trump-like. It's getting Trump-like. By the way, to mention, Giuliani is in legal trouble. So his phones have been, his electronic devices have been seized by court order. And I think the allegation is that he's in communication with Ukrainians, and there may have been money laundering involved. He may in fact been representing Ukrainian interests. I don't know if he was, and he's been communicating with Russian spies. Kalimnik, I think it is his name, Kalimnik. The Russian thing hasn't gone away. The Russian thing is a thing, and it's still there. And there are 2 Russians wanted by the FBI. Kalimnik, they're offering $250,000 reward. Kalimnik and Prigozhin. I'm not very good at pronouncing Russian names. Prigozhin, Kalimnik, I got down pretty good. So the Russia thing is not going away. Russia did meddle in the election, and I'll put up the wanted poster. You don't believe me? There's 2 FBI wanted posters on like groups of people, and then there's an individual wanted poster for Kalimnik and Prigozhin. I realize that these are facts, what we call facts, and you're not going to like those facts, but sorry. Yeah, Rank, your program is almost a complete waste of time of 3 hours. Let me point out one other thing, Rank, that you got totally wrong. The Independent Bipartisan Commission, going back to the very beginning of the video with Peter Meijer, and the establishing of an independent bipartisan commission to look into the riot, insurrection, when you were counting the votes. They were trying to stop the steal and stop the counting of the votes, which is what I would call sedition, right? So the calling for the commission, Nancy Pelosi didn't call for the commission. So Rank, listen closely. Rank, open your ears, turn off the radio, turn off Fox News, the TV. The Independent Bipartisan Commission was proposed by Liz Cheney, a Republican. Liz Cheney, number 3 Republican in the House of Representatives. Shall I say that again? The Independent Bipartisan Commission to look into the January 6th riot at the Capitol was proposed not by Nancy Pelosi. It was proposed by Republican Lynn Cheney. That's all her idea. Okay? So don't lie on the radio and say it's all Nancy Pelosi's idea. No, the Independent Bipartisan Commission is Liz Cheney's idea, patterned after the 9/11 Commission. Okay, so now that we got that stupid junk out of the way, what else can we? Have I covered it pretty much? I will in the last section. We can listen to the disclaimers, because another one of your lies that came out of WBCK and Trump was that the voting machines were somehow rigged. Okay, and you floated this lie and promoted this lie. And then the voting machine company sued your asses, or they sued Fox News, and they sued Newsmax, and who else did they sue? A third, I think OAN, I think they sued. And they won in court. And I think they're going to sue, sue Mike Lindell. The pillow guy doesn't know what he's doing. They've threatened to sue him, or they're either threatening to sue him, or they are suing him right now. And they're threatening to sue Patrick Colbeck. So, Rank, you know Patrick Colbeck, right? Oh, he was at the Tea Party meetings. That's right. Yeah, you know Patrick Colbeck. You're good buddies. They threatened to sue Patrick Colbeck because Patrick Colbeck keeps lying about Dominion voting systems and Smartmatic voting systems. Now, all this is minutia and a big, huge waste of time. We should be talking about reopening schools. We should be talking about infrastructure. We should be talking about healthcare. There's any number of. We should be talking about foreign threats, the Middle East. Who knows? Global warming. Etc. There's all kinds of things that we should be working on, but we're not, because we're wasting all of our time with Donald Trump and his stupid conspiracy theories. So Donald Trump lost the election. Joe Biden won the election. Just accept it, and then we can actually get something done. Otherwise, I have to waste hour after hour rebutting your stupid crap on your stupid radio station. Rank, your town square stupid radio for white men. Yes, and all you have as hosts is white men. There's no women and there's no people of color. So it's what would you call it? Yeah, it's segregated. And we don't have a racism problem. We've got a segregated talk radio network. There are no women and no people of color. What do you think about that, Rank? You got rid of one guy. I think he was Puerto Rican, if I'm not mistaken. Wow, I'm going into a long rant here. Man, oh man, I'm sorry. So the end of the program will be a reprise of the disclaimers after you people got sued by Smartmatic and Dominion voting systems. So you got to be careful there, Rank. And I've suggested to Dominion that they sue your butt, because you've been lying along with Trump. But hey, if lying makes you feel good, Rank, at night, whatever. Over and out. Now we'll play the my clips. Bye.
Since Election Day, various guests, attorneys, and elected officials have appeared on Newsmax and offered opinions and claims about Smartmatic and Dominion systems, both companies that offer voting software in the U.S., and Newsmax would like to clarify its news coverage and note that it has not reported as true certain claims made about these companies. There are several facts our viewers and readers should be aware of. Newsmax has found no evidence that either Dominion or Smartmatic owns the other or has any business association with each other. We have no evidence that Dominion uses Smartmatic software or vice versa. No evidence has been offered that Dominion or Smartmatic use software or reprogrammed software that manipulated votes in the 2020 election. Smartmatic has stated that its software was only used in the 2020 election in Los Angeles, was not used in any battleground state contested by the Trump campaign. Newsmax has no evidence to the contrary. Dominion has stated the company has no ownership relationship with the Pelosi family, the Feinstein family, the Clinton family, Hugo Chavez, or the government of Venezuela. Neither Dominion nor Smartmatic has any relationship with George Soros. Smartmatic is a U.S. company and not owned by the Venezuelan government, Hugo Chavez, or any foreign official or entity. Smartmatic states that it has no operations in Venezuela. While the company did election projects in Venezuela from 2004 to 2017, it was never founded by Hugo Chavez, nor did it have a corrupt relationship with him or the Venezuelan government. For more on this, please go to our website at newsmax.com. Read facts about Dominion Smartmatic that you should know.
irregularities of mail-in opinions about the integrity of the election, the irregularities of mail-in voting, of election voting machines and voting software. One of the companies, we reached out to one of the leading authorities on open source software for elections, Eddie Perez, for his insight and views. Eddie is the Global Director of Tech Development at the Open Source Election Technology Institute. We asked him for his assessment of Smartmatic and recent claims about the company.
Have you seen any evidence that Smartmatic software was used to flip votes anywhere in the U.S. in this election?
I have not seen any evidence that Smartmatic software was used to delete, change, alter anything related to vote tabulation.
Smartmatic says its software was never used outside of LA County in 2020. Do you know whether or not that's true?
That is my understanding. Smartmatic functioned as the contract manufacturer for the Los Angeles County voting system, and that was a customized system that was effectively built to the county's order. I am not aware of them having any other direct customers, relationships with election officials in the United States.
What about Smartmatic and Dominion? Do you know if they're related, whether one owns the other, whether Dominion uses Smartmatic software?
Both Dominion and Smartmatic have individually and respectively put out very clear statements from their corporate headquarters, each of them indicating they are independent companies, they are not related to each other. It is my understanding that neither one of them has an ownership stake in the other or anything like that. They are, again, for all intents and purposes, two completely separate companies.
Have you seen any evidence of a connection between George Soros and Smartmatic?
I'm not aware of any direct connection between George Soros and Smartmatic. It is my understanding that an executive at Smartmatic has some sort of relationship with one of Soros's foundations. That's the extent of my knowledge.
Have you seen any evidence of Smartmatic sending U.S. votes to be tabulated in foreign countries?
No, I'm not aware of any evidence that Smartmatic is sending U.S. votes to be tabulated in foreign countries. Again, I'm not aware outside of Los Angeles County of Smartmatic tabulating any votes in the United States because I'm not aware of them having any customer relationships in the U.S. And secondly, as others have pointed out, irrespective of which voting technology vendor we're talking about, in the United States, the ballots that are cast in the United States are tabulated in the United States.
Are you aware of any instances in which Smartmatic's technology was banned in the U.S. in 2020 due to security weaknesses or wrongdoing?
I am not. I'm not aware of any instances where Smartmatic's technology was banned in the U.S. Again, it is my understanding that outside of one customer in Los Angeles County, Smartmatic has no presence in the voting technology marketplace in the United States.
So what happened? What happened with your Twitter account and the company page?
Well, first mine was taken down because we have all the election fraud with these WD machines. We have 100% proof. And then when they took it down about 3 weeks ago, and then when I put it back up, my personal, it was a...
Mike, thank you very much. Mike, you're talking about machines that we at Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those kinds of allegations. We just want to let people know that there's nothing substantive that we've seen. And let me read you something there. While there were some clear evidence of some cases of vote fraud and election irregularities, the election results in every state were certified, and Newsmax accepts the results as legal and final. The courts have also supported that view. So we wanted to talk to you about canceling culture, if you will. We don't want to relitigate the allegations that you're making, Mike, because we understand where you are. So let me ask you this. Do you think that this should be temporary? Because it appears to be permanent. Could you make an argument that it is temporary?
What?
Could you make an argument that this would be a temporary banning rather than permanent?
No, I want it to be a permanent because, you know what? They did this because I'm revealing all the evidence on Friday of all the election fraud with these machines.
No election fraud.
Okay, Mike, can I ask our producers, can we get out of here, please? I don't want to have to keep going over this.
Actually,
we Newsmax have not been able to verify any of those allegations.
Mike, hold on a second. Everybody hold on a second. Mike, hold on 1 second. Let's talk a little bit about just what is happening overall in terms of censorship.
Cancel out my company and myself. In this country, it's cancel culture.
Thank you, Mike.
Access Vision, your voice, your community.